Welcome back to the Just Doing Our Cobb YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about our overreactions of the week. The first time we've done this in an episode, so I hope you guys enjoy. All right, Casey, now let's go ahead and move on to our everyone's favorite segment, Is It an Overreaction? Where, of course, we will give each other about 3 takes, say whether or not we think it's an overreaction and explain why. So, Casey, give me your first take for the week.
Zion versus LeBron was all it was hyped up to be.
Casey, that is not an overreaction. Those two going at it was so great to watch. Zion is such a beast in the paint, and obviously LeBron James in year 17 is still LeBron James. Triple-double like it's nothing. You know, the Pelicans struggled to guard LeBron in the post. They were only leaving him in single coverage, oftentimes against a smaller opponent, so LeBron was absolutely abusing them all night long. Obviously, we had 2 Lakers-Pelicans game over the past about week and a half, and they've both lived up to it, and those 2 guys are just so fun to watch still.
Yeah, they are. A lot of people are going to compare Zion and LeBron, but I don't know. They're very different players, but at the same time, there's that same level of excitement you get from watching both of them play. Even LeBron at 30 plus, 35 years old, it's just crazy. You know, there's just an excitement that comes with those players. So I absolutely loved watching the game yesterday.
And hopefully we get a few more years of it before LeBron leaves the league. All right, Casey, my first take for you is that the Dallas Renegades have no chance to win the XFL title this year without Landry Jones.
Honestly, I'm going to say that is not an overreaction because they had no chance to win it with Landry Jones. He has not lived up to my expectations of what I thought he was going to play like. And even without him, probably for the remainder of the season or a lot of it, I don't think Philip Nelson has any juice. Like, he's whack, bottom line. He's not a good quarterback. So if there is any spark of hope, it's going to be Eric Dungy. I'm just really hoping that he plays up to the level that he did at Syracuse. Maybe he could play some exciting brand of football. Probably not going to get it done to win the XFL championship, but just to keep me watching, I hope he plays exciting brand of football because Philip Nelson is not the answer.
Dungy just needs to act like he's playing Clemson every game. He'll do just fine.
Yeah, that game was incredible. What was that, 2 years ago now? Jeez.
Casey, what you got for me?
My next take for you, Robbie, is that if Tom Brady leaves, the Patriots should tear it down and tank for Trevor Lawrence, and that's if he leaves.
Casey, that is an overreaction because it depends on more than just Tom Brady. If they can re-sign guys like Devin McCourty, Kyle Van Noy, a couple of those key defensive pieces, they're still going to have one of the top defenses in the league with, insane talent. Stephon Gilmore, obviously, won Defensive Player of the Year. So I think if they can get a guy, I don't think Jarrett Stidham's going to come in and lead them to the Super Bowl, even if that defense plays out of their minds. But if they could get a guy like a Teddy Bridgewater maybe, or some other low-level free agent, or Ryan Tannehill even, like we talked about a few episodes ago, I think that would almost be good enough. Obviously, they still need some pieces to surround them with because Tom Brady couldn't do it with them. I don't think Tannehill or Teddy Bridgewater can do it with the weapons they have. But Isaiah Wynn, if he plays a full healthy year, if they'll get James Devlin back at fullback, get the run game going a little bit more, David Andrews hopefully returning from his blood clot injury, the center, I think that, their offensive line is going to be bolstered again. If they can add just a little bit of weapons around at wide receiver and tight end especially. Because I think James White and Sony Michel are very serviceable running backs. So, even if they can get a lower tier quarterback in the free agent market, I mean lower tier, but obviously Teddy Bridgewater and Ryan Tannehill kept winning wherever they were last year. So if they can get a guy like that, should Tom Brady leave, I think that they're still one of the top teams in the AFC. I don't know if they'll beat the Kansas City Chiefs or the Baltimore Ravens exactly, but I think they'd be right there in the competition.
So if Tom Brady were to leave and your contingency plan here is to go and get one of these guys, and you don't get them, what changes?
So you're telling me my lone quarterback on the New England Patriots roster is Jarrett Stidham next year,
or whoever you end up drafting, or whatever the plan is? Not like a Mike Glennon level player, but.
Okay, well, for this, then, I'll just assume Jarrett Stidham is my starter for 16 games next year. Then, I guess, you'd probably maybe let McCourty and Van Noy walk, try to build up some cap room for the next year, work on getting healthy, work on adding some playmakers. If you do draft a quarterback or add one in the next offseason, then he has weapons to work with. So then I guess you shift your focus a little bit more to the offensive end. I don't know if you completely tank for Trevor Lawrence, but I think that, I mean, Bill Belichick completely built on winning, so I don't think he would ever even consider tanking, but you got to look at the options there for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting scenario to follow. Should Tom Brady, which both of us don't think is going to happen, should he leave?
All right, Casey, my next take for you is that James Harden, the beard of the NBA, has awakened an absolute beast in the no-skilled Giannis.
I would say so, and that is because Giannis is one of the hardest, fiercest competitors in the league. I mean, he is just nonstop. He has that mentality, you know, that we talked about some of the players that could continue that Mamba mentality. I mean, he's went from most improved player to like this MVP level player, and if it's any indication in his last game, after what Harden's comments were about him, I would definitely say that he awakened the beast. I mean, 41 points, 20 rebounds in 34 minutes of play. I mean, that guy is someone you do not want to make angry, especially before the postseason.
Yeah, I agree. Giannis has looked, you know, just in the past couple of games since all this beef has not necessarily started, but ever since James Harden one-on-one with Rachel Nichols from ESPN, it's been a completely different Giannis. All right, Casey, what's your last take for me?
My last take for you, Robbie, is that the Davis twins did enough at the combine athletically to both get drafted this year.
You mean the Usain Bolt twins, right?
The Usain Bolt twins, yeah,
Yes.
the 300-pound Usain Bolt twins.
I think that they both obviously displayed the athleticism they have for being 300 pounds with their 40-yard dash times on top of other drills. I mean, you know, you look at those guys that are going to have to probably shift positions or at least get more open to playing the interior defensive line, kind of like we mentioned earlier on in the episode. I think that they will both be late day 3 draft picks. I don't think either of them is going to go day 2, but 4th through 7th round, probably earliest maybe 5th. But I do think that they can both get drafted.
I could totally see that. I mean, we talked about it earlier. They did enough athletically to at least get that look in the late draft rounds, so I could totally see them, especially with their size and skill, being able to get drafted in the NFL this year.
Are they going to get drafted at the same team, though?
That would actually be really cool.
That would be really cool. All right, Casey, my last take for you is that arguably one of the greatest of all-time baseball players, Mike Trout, can have a career as a golfer once he leaves baseball.
I am going to say that is not an overreaction. And mainly the reason I say this, if you haven't seen the video, Mike Trout was at Topgolf and absolutely boomed a drive like to the back wall, basically out of the whole facility they had there. And mainly I'm saying this from the point that with Mike Trout, he's already just completely blown past the impossible in baseball so far. And he's just such a great natural athlete that I would not put anything past him at this point. And I could totally see it. Maybe I didn't really do much research into his specific golf game because I know there's athletes like Tony Romo and other. Steph Curry is a big golfer and they play really well. Not PGA level, but they can definitely hold their own on a golf course. And if Mike Trout wanted to take the time to take up golf, I would not put it past him to make it to that level of play.
You know, he's got to work on that accuracy a little bit. You could hit it, 300 yards, but he did hook it a little bit to the left. So he's got to work on that, straighten that ball out. But man, he absolutely crushed that ball at Topgolf.
Yeah, you probably seen it occasionally on NBC, that long drive competition that they do. He could hold his own in there for sure.